Well, good evening and welcome to the program. This is The Limelight, and my name is Prince Apollo. We talk investment this evening relating to a milestone last month when Uganda was voted the best investment destination in Africa. And talking about investment, we need to hear from the minister herself, and we need to know what that means to Ugandans and to the country at large. I'm happy to host the State Minister for Investment, Honorable Evelyn Anite. And Honorable Minister, congratulations, and you'll tell us what that means, Uganda beating other 6 nations at an event in Abu Dhabi as the best investment destination in Africa.
Thank you, Prince. I love the program. It's called Limelight, right? Yes, Uganda actually got itself in that limelight that you're talking about last month. And it's not the first time that we got ourselves in the limelight. According to the Oxford rating, we are rated as the best investment destination in Africa and East Africa, and now Uganda among the top 10 in the whole of Africa. That was last year, but this year we got ourselves in the limelight and being the best investment destination in the whole of Africa. This is not because of anything. This is largely because of the policies that we have put in place. And I want to first of all congratulate His Excellency the President, who leads the policy formation, because when he came to power in 1986, the first thing he said is that he was going to build an integrated and self-sustaining economy. And to build an integrated and self-sustaining economy, what we needed to do was to put the right policies in place. So our policy has been import substitution and export promotion, and largely focusing on value addition. So we recognize the fact that Uganda, just like many other African countries, is blessed with natural resources. But what we had to do was to ensure that we focus on our comparative advantage. And that focus on comparative advantage of Uganda is what has put us top on the agenda, following the incentives and the policies that we've had to put in place. So we discovered that our comparative advantage over the globe is that we have a young, agile, and trainable population. Ugandans largely speak English. So for anyone to do business, whether it is trade, whether it is manufacturing, whether it is value addition, you need to be able to communicate for everything to be able to flow. So many nationals globally find it easy to communicate and work in Uganda, because then the manpower they have is skillable and it's easy to be able to communicate to them in English. But our other comparative advantage is that the most important comparative advantage Uganda has over the globe is the fact that we are a very peaceful country. So for the last 39 years, or now coming to 40 years, Uganda has been extremely peaceful. That for me and just like any other investor in Uganda or in the world, the first thing for them is that they need to invest their money where there's peace and stability. Nobody wants to put their money in a war-torn area. The other thing is that now we have negotiated national markets, which is Buy Uganda, Build Uganda, that you are sure that when you manufacture, Ugandans will buy your product. 2, we have also negotiated external markets. We have connected ourselves to the regional market of East African market of 300 million people, the regional market of SADC, which is 600 million people, and then we linked ourselves to the African Continental Free Trade Area of 1.4 billion people. So as we're doing that market link and the policies, we had to come up with policies like you don't have to pay for tax on your plant and machinery. So that means that people can bring in their machinery. A Ugandan can go from here and go to China or Turkey or India and buy the machinery, but bring it in the country without having to pay any import duty. So the plant and machinery tax we waived it. We brought land as an incentive that you have not to pay any tax or any fee on land.
If you are an investor.
If you're an investor, whether you're a local investor or foreign investor. For Ugandans, we give you the land to the extent that the minute you have invested 30% or $50,000 US, which is a prerequisite for you to be able to get the land, because you have to show that you actually have the money. Then we give you permission to mortgage that land. And so we've been doing this, giving the investors that, and it's a huge incentive, and it makes our comparative advantage about the globe very easy. Connecting Uganda to the market. That's why you see us building a road from Uganda to DRC, which is the biggest market in the region, which is a market of 80 million people, and we have to do that. So those are the reasons why we're able to win, and attracting FDI on green energy. Of course, we've attracted big companies, and people now, globally, everybody wants green energy. And as you know, Ugandan manufacturing largely happens on hydro, because we are largely making sure that we use the hydro. So that is green energy alongside solar energy, which makes it very easy for people to come and invest and bring their money in our country.
How can Ugandans capitalize on that leverage and benefit from that position of Uganda being the best investment destination in Africa?
I think the best thing for my fellow citizens is to take advantage of the opportunities. You see, the opportunities are right in front of us. We are looking at it. You know for sure that there is demand for goats globally. People need it.
Goat meat.
They need goat meat. But they do not have it. They need cow meat. So beef. In DRC, a kilo of meat goes at $10. Okay?
That's like 37,000.
Exactly. In Uganda, you're going to sell that kilo at how much?
At 15,000.
At 15,000. So you have to look for that market. We already have opened for you the market. What you need to do is agriculture being the backbone of our country. Identify all the agricultural products. Now don't do it in a subsistence way. Do it in a commercial way. How can you do it in a commercial way? You go into large-scale agriculture. And we need to come into groups. Individualism cannot take us anywhere. So my plea to Ugandans is that we have to team up. If you have a family land, instead of parceling this land and dividing it into 1 acre, half an acre, 2 acres in the family, grow together. Say now that there's demand for cereals. Let's say it is maize, let's say it is simsim, whatever it is. You cannot say, me, I want to grow my maize alone. If the demand is for 100 million US dollars,
you cannot satisfy it as one person.
satisfy it as one person. So come together as a group and start planting, and then you'll be able to sell it to the market as a group. So Ugandans can take this advantage of the free land for them to do value addition in industrial parks, take advantage of the tax incentives, advantage that if their issue is capital, we have established a bank, Uganda Development Bank. We have even lowered the interest rates. The market rate is at 25 or 35. We have lowered it down for them at 12%. We have even money for agriculture, because we know it's the backbone of that 12% Agriculture Credit Facility Fund. So I believe that if we zugukan, woke up from our sleep, and everyone starts working, we stop complaining, we talk less and work more, we will be able to succeed.
Okay.
Because you see, why am I saying this? By the way, most of the investors that you see here, except for the multi-billion investors who have come into the oil and gas sector, most of the investors, if you talk to them, they will tell you how they all started in this country. They started as traders. Okay? The Indians that you see doing business today, they are manufacturing, they all came here as traders. And they traded, they realized that it is more expensive for you to go and buy merchandise from India, bring them to Uganda, they decided that no, let them actually come and buy machineries. They started with one machinery, then went to the second, went to the third, and consistently and reinvesting your money actually gives you the opportunity to grow. But you have to be very deliberate, you have to be very consistent, and you have to be very frugal with money.
This perception that investors are all white, are foreigners. I don't know how, from your side, as a minister of this sector, how do you see it? And are there special privileges for local investors? Or anyway, a strategy
we need to look at the sectors.
To help
because
local
the
investors.
sectors for investment are clear. There is manufacturing, there is services, there is tourism, there is ICT. So let's start with the service sector, which includes
hotels,
real estate and the hotels. Who are the biggest owners
of hotels?
of hotels and
Some are Indians.
real estates? Real estates.
Okay.
I'm just asking, for real estate alone, the housing sector, Ugandans are the lead investors in that sector. All the houses that you see are for rent, all these apartments, all of them, 90% are actually owned by Ugandans.
Okay.
So Ugandans chose that as the first priority. Go downtown, arcade. The arcade that you see downtown, which provides services for people to go and do trade, all those traders, all those arcades, you can mention it, Mariana, Sunlight, Pioneer Mall, mention Aponye, all those are Ugandans. So Ugandans chose that sector as their priority for them to be able to invest. As to whether they're getting good return on investment in that, that's a question that we have to ask and debate.
In ICT?
In ICT, right now, majority are Ugandans. And why are they majority being Ugandans? This is largely because the Ugandans young people are the ones who have developed the apps. Quick money, is it easy money? All those, that is Ugandan, except for telecoms. Now the foreign companies that we see are in the telecom sector, that is
MTN,
Airtel, and all that. But Ugandans are still the majority.
Really?
Yes. Only that the foreign companies are the ones having the giant companies. And come to another sector, hotel and hospitality. We have over 1,000 hotels. Some of them are 5-star, some of them are 6-star. Majority of them are Ugandan owned. Ugandans are the ones who have actually built these hotels.
Are you saying the investment sector is dominated by local?
Ugandan investors are majority.
Really?
Ugandan investors are the majority investors. Only that they don't want to call themselves investors. It's just because they think that the word investors means Mzungu,
Foreigners.
means foreigners. No.
Okay.
So let's come down to manufacturing sector.
Yes. In industrial parks.
In industrial parks. I just use for you one example, Namang Industrial Park. The Namang Industrial Park sits at 2,200 acres of land. 440 companies allotted the land. 70% of the companies land allocated to are Ugandans.
Sure.
70% are Ugandans. This I can give you by statistics, by name. I can even give you their names.
Okay.
Because if I give you,
okay, you
if
can.
you don't want me to read for you, there are just many. I can give you the list. So, the non-Ugandan owned industrial parks are only 2.
Okay.
That is Mbale and that is Kapeka.
Oh.
The rest are Ugandan owned. All these other Ugandans who are, you can go on Gayaza Road, you can go on the Arua Road, going to Arua Road, Gulu Road, Mukono, Mbalala area, every other place that you see.
They are majority local investors.
So, the thing, why I see that it's a problem, it is just because when you see a few colored people among many dark-skinned people, you will not see the black ones. because then you just see the colored people. They look more.
Oh. So it's a perception in the minds of people. It's not real.
It's a very big issue of perception, and we have to clear this perception. We just have to compete. And I am very happy with Ugandans who have woken up and said, no, let's come. And the very Ugandans who have woken up are actually the owners of those arcades. They are the ones who have now decided to go into manufacturing. Okay? The Haji Musas, they were traders. The Marianas, they were traders. The Ntaki, they are traders. They are owners of those arcades. But they've moved away from that to now the area where we're focusing. Because we have made a lot of emphasis on manufacturing and value addition, and that's why they think that Ugandans are not in that sector. They are actually there in that sector, including myself. I'm in manufacturing.
Okay, what has been the biggest problem in your sector? I mean, in promoting investment in this country?
The biggest problem is, I find, is corruption.
Really?
Yes. The biggest problem, and we need to work on it very aggressively. They're tarnishing the image and frustrating my efforts. Because every person has become more or less a dealer, a middleman, moving around with an investor. Now this has to stop. The investors can come by themselves. And everything is taking some money from them. And I've had to struggle with this in my office. And I tell them, here, you are not going to ask anybody to give money. I even ask them, did they ask you for money? For bringing you here? I finished meeting with one investor. But this investor has been scheduled to meet 10 other ministers. Why? I've already stopped. I am like a one-stop center. If you need anything in Ministry of Energy, I've already given you the information. I just call Ministry of Energy, giving it to you. Much of the information is online. I don't see why they should be going to 10 and then on top of that meet the head of state. That's wrong.
So at what level? Is it at in your ministry or
it's not in my
outside?
ministry. This is the public now. The new lucrative job
is
conning
brokerage. Investors.
It is a brokerage for Ugandans. Brokerage. They've converted themselves as brokers. They have to stop that with immediate effect. And we're going to do it because we realize that it has become a lucrative business for many Ugandans. What we've decided to do is come up with a law. And I'm taking the law to Parliament to make it criminal for anybody who involves themselves in brokering and collecting money from investors.
At what level have you reached with that law?
We have already finished processing it. It's at cabinet stage. I'm taking it to cabinet.
May we know the title of that law?
You know it soon. I will give it to you. I'm going to give it to you. Let me pass it to cabinet, then I come with it here. Because this is the problem.
Specifically
targeting, they're collecting money.
Specifically
targeting those who have converted themselves as brokers and collecting money from the investors, picking bribes for them to be able to fix meetings with the ministers, with the president. So it's going to be criminal. You'd be 10 years imprisonment for that.
That's what in the proposed law?
Yes.
10 years?
Yes, imprisonment.
So the practice has been rampant?
Not only rampant, it has been evidence-based, tested. The president has arrested some of his own officials and they're in prison.
Conning investors?
Of course.
So have we made any convictions on?
Of course, there's one in prison right now. The State House officer who actually went and conned the investor in the gold mine sector and put him in prison and wanted to kill him on top of collecting money and asking shares. People are taking shares in people's companies. You don't have to do it like that. Just because you brought someone to meet Anite does not make you to have shares in that person's company.
How do you plan? What do you plan to achieve more? Because this was a good.
More, Uganda is doing very well. If you can only stamp out these issues of corruption and bribery, public funds and bribery on the side of the investors, Uganda is ready to fly. Our economy is set to grow. Now the contribution of GDP manufacturing to GDP is 16.5% on the GDP of 56%. Now, Uganda is growing at a rate of 6.5%. It can grow faster than that if we can only just close those other issues. I've already told you about our comparative advantage, peace and stability, cost of electricity being the cheapest in the region. We give electricity for manufacturing at 5 cents. Water, we give it to them at a domestic price of 250. It's tax incentives, corporation tax exemption of 10 years. If you have invested 100 million, or permission to mortgage the land if you have invested at least 30% for Ugandan and 60% for a foreign company. So it's, and then flexibility in forex, because people do not want to be in a place where there's scarcity of dollar exchange. So we have enough dollar in the country. They're able to trade. They're able to convert their dollar into shillings and convert their shillings into dollar, because that is how trade is. That's how business is. That's how investment is. You have to be able to have the flexibility of able to move your money. So really, for me, I think Uganda is all set to grow and surpass the middle income status. UN recently confirmed that now we're in the middle income status.
Lower middle income.
Lower middle income status. We don't want to stay at the lower middle income status. We want to go on the higher middle income status. We really want to reach the middle income status. We are desperate to become a first world.
Okay. As I conclude, Honorable, I know you as no nonsense on issues of corruption and on issues of integrity. Do you find a problem of corruption in your ministry?
Of course.
A problem?
Of course, there is rampant corruption, and some of them still technically. But for me, I have never accepted give a blind eye for that. People tell me, but Nangi, Anite, just keep quiet. Let these people do what they want. It is their country. It's my country too. I'm not going to keep quiet. So the point in case is that public funds being misused, instead of using it for the project has delayed for 5 years, it's at 50%, and now they're using it for paying themselves honoraria, thanking themselves. Thank yourself for what? So mine is they must return. I fought UTL very successfully, thanks to the president that he was with me. We made our company 100% Ugandan owned. It was at the verge of collapse. I really, really fought to make sure that it doesn't collapse, doesn't get liquidated. And Uganda, the country, has seen growth in manufacturing sector. Now from 84 companies when President Museveni came in to 10,000 factories and more. It is growing. So let us just stamp out corruption and let our country grow.
You don't fear the corrupt to fight back?
They do fight back. I'm used to their fighting back because they don't know how to make money, first of all. And so they think that people will just, if you catch them, then they say, oh, Anita was bribed and given 28 billion. Then they throw. Then they wake up and give me other people's property and say, oh, those belong to me. So that they can stop me from talking. I know the truth. I stand for the truth.
Even so, a letter, you are of intention to sue you?
I have told them very clearly. And he's just told me, no. Now that you've given me the facts, I'm withdrawing. I have just told them that I acknowledge receipt of their letter and that the purpose of this letter is to categorically state that the illegal actions of your client, and I'm writing to the law firm, is a preserve of the wrath of our laws, national laws. Your client and others should therefore prepare to fully refund Ugandan taxpayers' money that were deposited in their personal accounts as highlighted below, and their account numbers are here. Therefore, it is my unwavering position that I pledge to defend the taxpayer of Uganda against corruption, abuse of office, and misuse of public funds, be it even in the courts of law in Uganda or anywhere in the world. I will defend and stand to the last drop of my blood. So they should bring it on. You want to sue me? Sue me. I'm ready to defend it.
Honourable Minister, thank you so much. And one last word to Ugandans who would want to join the investment sector. One last word.
One last word is that, first of all, when you come to the investment sector, it is a place where you have to make sure you save your money. And when you save the money, invest. Be very frugal on your expenses. Do accountability. Keep records very clear, because without record keeping, you lose your money. And make sure that you put your monies in the bank. You leave them in your houses, people would steal it. You would get emergencies from friends, in-laws, and relatives, and you lose the capital that you have. So my advice is that the opportunity is here for you. Land is for free. If anyone asks you for money, report. I am your #1 champion to tell you land for industrialization, for value addition, is for free. It's for free. Let's invest in Uganda and grow our country.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister, and thank you so much, our viewers. That is the limelight you've heard from the host's mouth. The Honorable Minister says there are many more opportunities for investment in Uganda, in our country. Do it. Go into investment. Go make money. Go and grow. That is development. Good evening until next Friday, when another edition of The Limelight will come up. My name is Prince Apollo. Good evening. God bless you, and God bless Uganda.